Peekaboo, it's me, John Fleege, Security National Mortgage Company. How's everybody doing out there? No answers, not one response. That's fine. Well, you know what? I'm doing okay today, except for carrying the weight of the world's problems on my shoulders. But that's fine, because today isn't shoulder day at the gym, so I can do that. I'm not going to be too tired. But anyways, I didn't come here to talk to you about my shoulder workout. I came here to talk to you, more specifically, maybe parents, stay-at-home parents who might be returning to work. Students, maybe you are a student that is anticipating graduation. I know that whenever I went to college, for the brief period of time that I did, I surely anticipated to graduate, but some things happened, whatever. So anticipating students, anticipating to graduate, or students who may have recently graduated, I know that there are multiple lending institutions out there that if you go and you make an application for a mortgage loan and you tell them that you have less than 24 months employment history, no matter what the circumstances are, 24 months being like from right now, 24 months back. If you don't have 2 years employment history, 2 years tax returns or whatever, they're going to tell you, get lost, come back whenever you got 2 years employment history. Now, due to the way that lending guidelines work, the majority of loans out there are what you call secondary market loans. Secondary market, that just means that the guidelines are written, Fannie and Freddie Mac. These loans they all have to conform to a minimum set of rules because they are all sold on the secondary market. So in order for them to be interchangeable, they all have to conform to a minimum set of rules. However, the lending institutions, Security National, or whoever, other lenders, we can impose additional rules on top of the basic guidelines. We call those overlays. So the overlays are the reason why you can go to one place and they will tell you that an FHA loan has a minimum credit score of 580, when you could go to another place and they might tell you the FHA loan has a minimum credit score of 640. That is an overlay. That is, that particular lending institution, that is the spectrum that they want to deal in for that loan product. It doesn't necessarily mean that that is like the, bare knuckles basic guidelines that can be done. So then, with the 24 months employment, let's just say that you are a stay-at-home mother, you've been at home with your children. Well, let's back up a little bit. Let's say that, you used to work, I'm going to use my wife for an example, medical supply sales. Let's just say that you used to do that. And you did that for 3-4 years or whatever. And then, got pregnant, decided to stay at home with the children, and you stayed at home with the children for the last 5 years, however long this time was. Well, kids are old enough, they're in school, you want to go back to work. So the thing that has to happen is whenever you start the job back, you're going to need to be employed at that job for a minimum of 6 months. That's not a real long time, after being off work for a period of like 5 years, before you get fully confident in what you're doing. I mean, you might want to be back to work for that long. Maybe you might decide in 3 months that you don't want to do this anymore, that the work life, you want to go back home and, I don't know, have more babies or whatever you want to do, crochet, whatever your hobbies are. So then you need to be back at work for a minimum of 6 months. And then what we would do is we would, of course, write letters of explanation for the period of time that you were off work, staying home with the children, making, doing what I believe is the hardest job in the world, taking care of kids. I know that I wouldn't want to be home with kids for 5 years. It'd be like being in jail for, well, no, I'm not going to say that. But yes, hats off to the stay-at-home mothers. Good job. But I'm being serious. But anyways, so you've been off for 5 years, had employment before that, been back to work for 6 months. We're going to verify the employment for the work you've been back to. We are going to write a detailed letter of explanation as to why you were off work for this period of time. And then what we're going to want to do is verify the employment prior to the gap. Now that justifies, you're welcome, that justifies being off work, because it is not irrational that you are off work for a period of time to raise children. That's still a job. You're still doing something. It's not like that you've just been off in rehab for the last 2 years or something like that, or whatever. You've been doing things. So we would verify the work prior to the gap, and then of course we would document the current employment and tie it all together real nice and neat and everything. So if you've ever heard of somebody, whether it's your friend, whether it's you, and a stay-at-home parent, whoever, mother, father, whatever, going back to work, you just need to massage that situation in a way to where it makes sense. Now, on the other hand, students. Now, it's a little different for a student because students, college students that is, not high school, most of the lending guidelines that I'm aware of, and which I think has to be all of the guidelines, you're not going to be able to use high school in the same way as you would be able to use college. Now, let's say, though, that you've been in college for 2 years, 3 years, 4 years, or whatever. It's always helpful to have a college degree that coincides with the type of employment that you have, but we all know that the vast majority of people that go to college and graduate do not actually go into the profession that they got their education in. So, you got a Bachelor of Science in Biology, you might wind up, doing pharmaceutical sales, or does that even exist anymore? I think it's medical sales. I don't think there's any pharmaceutical sales reps left. Few and far between if there are. But, maybe you just got, whatever job. I mean, it doesn't necessarily have to correspond. But if you're a student, we're able to use the time that you were in school and your college degree, transcripts, certificate. It doesn't necessarily have to be college. It could be vocational school. It could be like, the kind of schools that maybe a CNA goes to, or just a full-blown college degree, associates, bachelor's, master's, whatever you got. So we would want to document the time that you had been in school with transcripts, and then of course like a diploma. And then if it's always better, like I said, to be able to correlate the education to the type of job that you currently have, but it's not absolutely necessary. We just need to be able to show something, because going to college, I mean, what they're looking for ultimately is like responsibility, dependability, that you are going to continue on. And you're going to continue to make income, you're going to continue to work. Well, going to college is that is a job in itself. It's a big thing, it's a big commitment. And, to be able to get out of college and then go straight into the workforce is a great thing. And it's like you're not going, or you shouldn't be, penalized for that. Because like I said, I know that there are lenders out there that will tell you that if you do not have 2 years employment history right up front, then you're not going to be able to, get a loan, mortgage loan. Like I said, that is other lenders and not Security National. We don't carry all the crazy overlays. We do everything straight off of Fannie and Freddie. So all of our stuff is virtually untouched with overlays. If it's in the DU findings, we're going to go with it. And so when it comes time for gaps in employment, whether you are a stay-at-home parent returning to the workforce or whether you are a college student, we're going to be able to help accommodate you with that. So if you need more details on this, feel free to message me. Feel free to give me a call, 918-630-1991. I'd be happy to answer any questions you have, or you can text me there. Either way, message me here. You can call the office, 918-286-1226. Let me know if you have any questions on this subject, because I hate to see people who have either, you've taken out part of your life to stay home with kids and, voluntarily left the workforce to raise your children. You shouldn't be hassled whenever you try to go back to work and apply for a mortgage loan. Same thing with students. You've got to get your education. You've paid your dues, so to speak. And, as long as you have obtained a job after you get out of school, you should be able to get a loan. And that's what we like to do for you. So, hey, everybody, I hope that you have a good day. I'm going to get back to work. Any questions, feel free to message me, call me, or whatever you need to do. So, have a good day.